Hey dude, Ollie Carson here. About 7 or 8 months ago, I decided to run an experiment for my online coaching business. And the idea was to try and bridge the gap between the free content that I was producing and my high ticket coaching program. And not only was the experiment a huge success in the way that it brought in new coaching clients, it has significantly shortened the sales cycle for all of our leads and prospects, meaning the time that somebody goes from consuming content to becoming a high ticket coaching client on average has dropped significantly. So in this video, I want to show you what the offer is, how it works, why it works, and then also show you how you can adapt this for your coaching business as well. By the way, if you want the workbooks that I'm about to run through throughout this video, then it will be in the first line of the description of the YouTube video. I have a section in my school community called YouTube resources. Just go in there and you'll be able to download it. So first and foremost, let's look at the old way of getting high ticket coaching clients for your business. The first thing that you need to do is get attention, right? You need to get eyeballs on your offer. And there's several ways that we can do this. Number one, we can post organic content. Okay, so whether that's short form reels, carousels, YouTube videos like this, whatever, we post organic content. Number two is we run paid ads. Okay. Number three is we do some form of outreach. Or number four, we do some form of combination of all of those things, okay, which is what most people do. Now, once we've got the attention, we need to send it somewhere. So what most people typically do is send the attention to some form of landing page. And on this landing page, you'll typically have a VSL video at the top, okay, which is basically an explainer video that talks through your offer, how you can help people, what sort of solutions that you provide. And then at the bottom of the page, you will typically have a book a call button, okay, to get people to book in sales calls. Okay, so this is typical. This is what most online coaches would do in the past. The other option here, another alternative to this, is you send that traffic and that attention to a lead magnet. Now, the lead magnet specifically, once the leaders opted in, they're going to receive a nurture sequence via email. They may also get some manual follow-up. But then ultimately, there's going to be some form of call to action inviting people to book a call. Now, the reason that this old way is, in my opinion, not the best way of doing things right now is because there are so many online coaches, and you've likely experienced this in your niche right now, that it's becoming busier and busier with online coaches selling a similar service to you. Your audience and your potential customers are a little bit more skeptical, and rightly so, okay? Because everybody is claiming to be able to help them. And, it's a noisy, busy industry, right? People don't know who to trust. People don't know who's legit, who's not legit. And so skepticism is pretty high. Now, if you get somebody on a sales call through one of these methods and you try and sell them your high ticket coaching offer, if my pencil works, you try and sell them your high ticket coaching offer and they don't trust you enough yet, you kind of burn through that lead, right? They now know how much you charge. They know that you're pricing yourself out, essentially. They go back into the market and look for other solutions for their problem. Okay, so this is the old way of doing things. Now, the new way, and the way that is, quite frankly, in my opinion, far more enjoyable, is we make binge-worthy content. Okay, we make content so good for our ideal clients and customers that they take just heaps and heaps of value away from every single piece of content that they watch of yours. And they start to build an association with you and the value that you put out, and one of trustworthiness, one of somebody that they can listen to and believe in. We make binge-worthy content, and again, we get attention. So we get eyeballs from that content, and we steer those eyeballs and that attention towards a fantastic lead magnet. Okay, the lead magnet wants to clearly solve specific problems that your ideal clients face with your unique solutions. Okay, so what separates you from other options in the market Are you doing something that's slightly different? Do you have a slightly different take on things? Is it a contrarian type take? Is it, the way that you deliver your service to your clients, is that slightly different? But we want it to be fairly unique in the way that you deliver those things. And off the back of that, as always, we have, our lead nurture sequences and so on and so forth. Now, the difference here is rather than getting somebody to book a call and trying to sell them something that is high ticket, we're going to send this traffic, whether it's through automated follow-up, whether it's through manual outreach, whether it's through just emailing your list, but we're basically going to offer them a micro offer. And this is the thing that I introduced 7 or 8 months ago that has been a complete game changer for my coaching business. Now, I'm going to go through what a micro offer is in detail in just a moment, and we're going to build out yours on the workbook. But just understand that the micro offer essentially bridges the gap. Okay, we're bridging the gap between your free content, right, which is really useful for people, and your high ticket coaching offer. So rather than getting people to take this huge leap of faith from just watching your free YouTube videos or your free Instagram reels, we're now putting in the middle here, this micro offer. But we need to get the micro offer right. And that's exactly what we're about to do. So the big mistake that coaches make when they create a lower ticket product or service for their business is they list out all of the various features and benefits that their main core program has to offer. So it might be like one-to-one calls, group sessions, resources and training material, weekly check-in system, in-person events, community, private communication channel. They've got all of these amazing things that they offer their one-to-one clients in their core program. But the second that they create something that is lower in price, to justify that price, that lower price point, they start stripping all of these things away. So they say, I won't do the one-to-one calls. They can get the group sessions, they can get the resources and training, but they won't get the weekly check-ins, they won't get the in-person events, they won't get the community, and they're not going to get a private comms channel. Now, you can already start to see what's happening here. When you have a lead turn into a low ticket client or customer, and this is the service that you deliver them, so a group session, some training material, and that's it, right? This is just an example, but let's just say that that's what you deliver them. Well, you are making it nearly impossible for you to upsell that individual into the thing that actually makes you money for your coaching business, which is your high ticket coaching offer, your core offer, okay? The thing that is going to put big cash in your account, but also more importantly, going to provide the best service and the best results for your clients. So this is a huge mistake that coaches make. And I'm going to show you how to mitigate this. And this is going to go against the grain of everything that you've been told in the past. But I want you to bear with me. I want you to imagine, the guys in Men in Black, they have that pen. You flash the pen and you forget everything that you've known previously. I want you to just have an open mind here and trust me, because this will completely transform your business. So what you do instead is you're going to create an accelerator version of your core offer, okay? So what is an accelerator version of your core program? It's basically a short, high value, low price point offer that does everything that your core offer does. Now, there are a few things that we need to keep in mind when we're creating this accelerator program or your micro offer. And the first thing that we need to keep in mind is the time frame. Now, the time frame is critically important, because if it's too long, your clients will get a significant result and then they won't need you. Okay, if they don't need you, you're not going to be able to upsell them, and you're not going to be able to make your high ticket coaching sale. Okay, so you don't want this thing to be too long, because that is going to shoot you in the foot when it comes to the upsell process. You don't want it to be too short, because you're not going to set a great first impression. You're not going to show just how great you are at what you do. And again, that's going to lead to no high ticket upsell. So what sort of time frame should your micro offer be? In my experience of doing this for myself and doing it with clients, should be anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks long. That is typically enough time to get a significant result with your clients, but not so long that they don't need you beyond that point. Okay, so 2 to 4 weeks works really, really well. The second thing that we need to look at, I know this sounds similar, but it's not, is timing. Okay, so when I'm talking about timing, I'm actually referring to when you sell this thing. Okay, because if you're selling something that is B2C, so business to consumer, i.e., the majority of the people that you work with are regular, employed individuals, they collect a salary, then typically most people collect their salary at one point at the end of each month. So we want to make sure that you're selling this thing and you are upselling this thing when people are being paid. That is going to give you the highest likelihood of having uptake on your upsells. Okay, so when you're timing this, you want people to start around payday, which is usually the end of month. So end of month, and you want people to finish around payday at the end of month. Okay, so when you're upselling, you increase the likelihood of getting your high ticket coaching sale. Okay, it's really, really key. If you work in B2B, if you work with other business owners, entrepreneurs, then this is going to be less relevant for you. This is less relevant for me. But when I'm teaching my clients this, I always make sure that they're aware of the fact that, if you work with regular people with jobs, then the timing is really critical. And then probably most importantly, because this kind of brings everything together, is your pricing. How much should you charge for this thing? Because you can go too high, but you can almost certainly go too low as well. If you go too low, the risk of going too low is that, number one, you devalue what you do, but also importantly, you potentially bring in people who then cannot afford your upsell. Okay, so you bring in bad leads, bad prospects who just will never be able to afford the upsell into your high ticket. Okay, we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that there is a bit of filter with the price. If you go too high, then you run into the same problem that you had previously. People don't trust you enough yet, and so they just go back into the market and they look for another solution. We don't want that to happen. So pricing wise, here's what I found to work best for me and for my clients. It wants to be about 50% of your regular offer's monthly rate. Okay, so let's just say, for example, your regular monthly rate is $1,000 a month. Okay, that's what you typically charge people for your core offer, just as an example for ease of numbers. Well, then your micro offer, your accelerator, would be 50% of that for 30 days. So it would be $500 for your accelerator. Nice and easy. And that's how you price it. Super, super simple. Okay. That is the entire playbook to mitigate all of the low trust, the skepticism in the market, being in a crowded niche of people selling a similar service to you. You bridge the gap between your amazing free content that people binge and your high ticket coaching offer with a micro offer just like this. Hope this has been useful, guys. Remember, if you want the workbook, it's linked in the first line of the description. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.